Our Stiftung Namibia Angola office will be launching the Namibian Constitution in Braille. The landmark launch of the Namibian Constitution in Braille is hosted in partnership with the KAS and the Namibia Federation for Visually Impaired. Joining us now to give us more details on the matter is Natalie Russmann, the resident representative of KAS Namibia Angola. A very good evening and welcome to the Daily Roundup.
Very good evening. Thank you for having me tonight.
Well, why was there a need to come up with a constitution in Braille?
Well, in generally, we promote democracy and rule of law, and it is about human rights. It is about access to information, and we do see a demand in that regard. We cannot leave somebody behind. It's also related to the Constitution of Namibia, and it's related to the sustainable development goals that we shall include people with disability, and in this case, people who are visually impaired. It is about, in generally, inclusivity and human rights, that everybody has the ability to get access to information and profound information and not rely on others to ask friends or relatives to translate part of the Constitution, rather than to have a first-hand access to the Constitution. And the Namibian Constitution is famous for its progress. It's very robust and worldwide very well known. So it's really good if also people with disability and who are visually impaired have the possibility to inform themselves.
So why has it taken so long to have this supreme body of law in Braille, seeing that it's obviously been around for 32 years?
Yeah, that's indeed the question we ask ourselves when we are planning this, to implement these initiatives. Probably it's just a lack of awareness around us. And by this initiative we would like to give more awareness to people in general with disability. We start with people with visually impairment, but we will go further. This is just the first step to start with.
So briefly walk us through the process, involved in completing the Constitution in Braille. How long did it take, the stakeholders involved, and some of the major challenges that you encountered?
To be honest, it wasn't that difficult, and it also did not take so much time. First of all, we as Konrad Adenauer Foundation also have to learn from them. So it starts by knowing the federation better, by starting with a visit to the federation itself to see what's already there, what's the need, what they're really doing in the country. And we realize that the Namibian Federation for Visually Impaired are very good structured, and they are doing a lot in the country, and also knowing that the visually impaired makes a huge number among the people with disability. We start with that project, knowing that we are living in a time of limited resources and budgets, so we would like to give a big impact. So we start with that project. Actually, it just take more or less a year, we would say so in general. But it was also in cooperation. It's just not our effort as Konrad Adenauer Foundation. It was in cooperation with the association itself, and it's also their effort that we are in this stage now.
And obviously, you do hope that this latest development will impact the lives of the visually impaired in Namibia, of course.
Definitely. That's our biggest aim, that it will contribute and give a positive impact to our fellows with visually impairment, but also to kind of wake-up call. We know that the numbers are much higher than it's pointed out in the statistics. Especially in the rural areas, they still sometimes have to hide from the so-called normals, and it's also a kind of wake up, look, we can do something about it. I like to say disability doesn't mean inability. Sometimes they just need specific tools or assistance, and then they can do something in our society, give a contribution, and sometimes they're even better than us.
So will it be accessible then to each and every visually impaired person, or will it be kept somewhere where they can go and look it up? And otherwise, how will it be distributed to them?
Yes, thank you very much for that question. We will give more details about this on our event tomorrow, which is the launch of the Constitution in Braille. In generally, we will try to distribute it as far and as wide as possible. But through the infrastructure of the Namibian Federation for Visually Impaired, who has five branches branches in different regions, we will distribute it through the region and also to the national branch here in Windhoek. And through the regions, then we will try to reach out for the schools, university, and libraries. And lastly, important to mention also, we will have we will also make available in the National Library, which I think is important, so that everybody will have access there. And of course, we will see if the 100 copies are not enough of printing. We will try then to print more. So we will try how the take-up is, look at this, and if necessary, we will of course print more.
Well, let me thank you so much for talking to us. Obviously, you said the launch is tomorrow. Briefly, what are we expecting at the launch? Who will be there? Where will it be? And so on.
Yes, it will take the whole day. It's fully packed. It's a combination of giving information about the law and the regulatory framework in Namibia regarding disability. So we will look at the framework, the review of the policies. That the first step will be given of experts, of a representative from the Ministry of Justice, and then we will see what and discuss what's the situation on the ground. I think this is the most important part. Since we know the law is quite good, but it's always a matter of implementation, and that will take a lot of time and a lot of discussion, hopefully, where we bring different various associations among disabilities together, and just to compare then the legal framework with the situation on the ground. And yeah, then we take it further to the launch and hopefully have a nice possibility to discuss, to network, and lastly, to give awareness.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Of course, that is Natalie Russmann, of course, the resident representative of KAS Namibia Angola, talking to us about the launch that will be taking place tomorrow of the Namibian Constitution in Braille. We'll take a short break and we'll be right back. Don't go too far.